to 7 billion people, 10 vaccines, because they are predicting in another 8 to 14 years' time, there could be more pandemics for a variety of reasons. It could be much more virulent, it could take out a whole lot of population. It will not stay with us if you're continuing… if everybody starts living in high-rise apartments without being in contact with the ground and start living like lab rats, protected from everything.
In the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war.
It's not fair to compare this to Spanish flu or the bubonic plagues, the Black Death of the past, because it's not that virulent. It's mild, just teasing us. It'll kill us also, but not like those things which came in the past, which would just wipe out entire populations of a town or a village. So different kind, this'll hurt us in a different way. So being judicious, being cautious, being precautious in our activity, we can come on top of it. But till now, whenever these kind of viruses happen in the past, we never found a solution. It just happened over a period of time. Well, either the virus mutated into a milder strain of its own, or we developed an immunity over a period of time and we came out on top of it. But we never really found an actual solution that all these things that are being touted as vaccine is going to come in 2 months' time, in 3 months' time, such things have not happened. Not that it should not happen this time, but already as we know there are over 10 strains of it. How are we going to do vaccines? How are we going to… even if we make a vaccine, how are we going to administer it to 7 billion people, 10 vaccines? That's going to be a lot of work by itself. So, the only way is to enhance our immune system. In India, we've just moved away from the land only in the last 25–30 years ago. This benefit is still there with us. It will not stay with us if you're continuing… if everybody starts living in high-rise apartments without being in contact with the ground and start living like lab rats, protected from everything, well, our immunity also will go down. But I think we still have this advantage. But right now, what can I do to boost my immunity? As I said, it's not an overnight solution, but in a period of time, you can do this. Well, let me talk about very common things available. Neem is available almost right across the country except in the mountainous places. Daily consumption of neem leaves. Turmeric is anyway available. Now, they are making what is called as nano-turmeric, where the absorption rate is way higher than the normal turmeric, which also greatly enhances your immune system. If you soak the gooseberry or the amla in honey overnight, along with some broken pepper, black pepper or green pepper. Green pepper I'm saying for those of you who are in other countries, green pepper does not mean chili. We mean to say raw pepper. The peppercorn, when it's raw, which you might not have seen in most parts of the world, here it's common for us, it's available. So, soak it in honey and every day about 3 spoons, 3 times a day. It works best, all these things work best when you're on an empty stomach, that's the first thing that you take. If you do these things, you can see a significant increase in your immune system. I would say in 4 to 8 weeks, one can see significant betterment of one's immune system. There are yogic practices which are hard to teach, but right now, just doing a chant and doing Isha Kriya, this will also enhance your immune system. Let this be very clear that this is not treatment for coronavirus, nor is it a prevention. I did my chant, so I go and do irresponsible things, it's not going to work like that. These are things you do over a period of time and strengthen your system, that the next virus that comes, you may be in a little better place to handle. That is if you're there. Yes, don't take this lightly. Do not take this lightly. Right now, it is a challenge for every one of us to stay alive through this period. That's what it means. Do not think it's some remote thing that happens to somebody else in China or Italy. Right now, if you stay alive through these 6 to 8 months, that means we have handled this responsibly. If every one of us stay alive, that means we are good. We have lived consciously and responsibly, that's what it means. The only way is to behave socially in a responsible manner. This is the way forward, and it's a new world, at least for the next 1 or 2 years. It is going to be a different world than what we have lived in. Many things are being done. One aspect is to bring to your notice, especially those of you who are in United States. The Harvard University, in collaboration with the Beth Israel Hospital, medical center in United States, together they're conducting a research on how the yoga practitioners, people who have been doing some yogic practices, how do they respond to a virus like this? What is their resilience? Are they surviving better? I'm 100% sure they're surviving better, but we need medical evidence for this, but I'm 100% sure because I have not heard of a single case of any of our meditators dying. So, yoga doesn't come through blood. You gotta do it. That's the only problem with the damn thing. It works miraculously, but you have to do it. You can't ask your healthcare people to do it for you. It's not that kind. So, they're taking a sample of 5,000 Isha yoga practitioners, those who are doing in engineering practices and other practices, and they will also study 10,000 non-yoga practitioners, and in the next probably 3 to 4 months, they will arrive at some sort of a, results for the study. What is the difference? I'm 100% sure there will be a difference, but only if you're practicing. Because this is going to be important. For the world, for the humanity, it's going to be important because they are predicting in another 8 to 14 years' time, there could be more pandemics for a variety of reasons. Some predictions are there. These are scientific calculations by looking at certain things, certain trends that are happening in the world. They say in another 8 to 14 years, there will be another pandemic. And that may be… we don't know what kind it will be, it could be much more virulent, it could take out a whole lot of population.
If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. But we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic.
But before then, we must see that whole population is doing yoga. Two Quaker priests were standing with a board, "End is near." So, a motorist, a man driving a car, came, saw the board, put his head out of the car and say, "You religious nuts!" And all the other things he said. And then after a few seconds, they heard screeching tires and a crash noise. Then one of the Quakers said, "I think we should have just put it as bridge is out." So we are just saying, behave responsibly, this will pass, but you want to say end is near. No, no, end is not near. The world's population is not going to get wiped out. But by the time this is done, as a generation of people, either we will have the satisfaction, we rode this crisis well, or we will have the shame of putting our heads down that we did irresponsible things and which cost many precious lives. This is for sure, that either you will hang your head in shame in 12 months' time, or you will walk with a certain sense of resolve and purpose in your life, because as a generation of people, we sailed through this with minimum amount of damage to the humanity. This one thing will definitely be available to you, either this or that. It is my wish and my blessing that we should be able to hold our heads high after 12 months' time. Let's make that happen.